It's never going to stop, is it? It's never going to. At what point? Here's what I'm looking for in the college football playoff expansion. We haven't even had the 12-team playoff yet. That's going to be for the next 2 years. We're already discussing a 14 or 16 team playoff. Who's going to be the first person in legitimate authority and influence in college football to say, we should really look at the FCS model and go for a 24-team play. You know what? If you're going to have 24, you should really just widen it to 32. You know what? Like, when does it end? Where does it end? How does it end? I don't know the answers to those questions. Here's what I do know. Brett McMurphy and a couple others reporting that a proposal for the college football playoff expansion starting in 2026 would have automatic bids. I don't even like saying that term. It repulses me to my core as a college football fan. Automatic bids. See, it's just terrible. That would look something like this. 3 from the Big Ten. 3 from the SEC. Let's just, before we get to the rest of the numbers, can we talk about the insanity of that and what that is doing to the sport that we all love so dearly? Because this is absolute insanity. You're telling me there's going to be an automatic berth to the college football playoff for a team that doesn't even make a conference championship game? I know that these are loaded conferences. But at that point, get rid of the conference championship games. I mean, what's the point? You almost don't want to play in that game. I like you could ding your resume further. Sure, you could bolster it. You could get the buys. I understand that is there, but to not have a need, to not have a desire to play in a conference championship game, what are we doing? What are we doing? 3 Big Ten, 3 SEC. The proposal goes on to have 2 automatic bids for the Big 12 and the ACC. That, at least in those leagues, gives you a strong incentive, desire, need, and urgency to make a conference championship game. Because in what situation in a post-divisions world of college football, a rare change that's taken place in the sport recently that I'm a big fan of and I think does a lot of good, but of course automatic bids are just divisions but on a broader scale, but nobody seems to realize that and nobody seems to care. It's like that scene in, I think it's a Jurassic Park movie, look, I've got so-and-so. See, nobody cares. So 2 in the Big 12, 2 in the ACC. I can't see a world in which a team outside of the conference championship game is going to get that automatic berth. Like you would lose an extra game in the conference title game, whoever the runner-up ends up being, but then you would be able to hold over the head of the other team. You could come up with a specific scenario. I'm sure the YouTube comments will do that. People do that sort of stuff all the time. Some of you have got a lot of free time to comment. You know what? I'm here for it. I like the engagement and such. But 2 in the Big 12, 2 in the ACC, and then 1 from the group of 5. Tying back to the Pac-12, which I led the show with today. 1 group of 5, always going to get in. And then 3 at-large spots. Why don't we just call those SEC and Big Ten spots? Because if the conferences were to agree to a structure in which they freely admit what we all know to be true, which is, yeah, the Big Ten, the SEC are better than everybody else. Who do you think is going to get all the at-large spots? I mean, you could have 9 of 14 teams from the Big Ten and the SEC. Does that sound like a playoff structure you want? Maybe to you it does. To me, I'm not on board with any of these sorts of things. I am not a fan of automatic bids for anybody, ever. Because here's why college football has always been great. The regular season product has been, for a long time, for the most part, a double elimination, season-long postseason. It's a regular postseason. That's what it's been. It's been a regular postseason because once you lose your second game, whether in the BCS, there are a couple of exceptions, but a 2-loss team never made the college football playoff, you're done. You're done. You're not getting in. And there's no other sport in the world, certainly not the NFL, nor anything else. The NFL is, of course, the closest, but guess what? It's not the same. I enjoy watching Sunday night or Monday night football or NFL games throughout the day and watching Mahomes go against Josh Allen or the 49ers play the Ravens or somebody like that in a big game. It's entertaining. Afterwards, when one team loses, you know what we're all feeling? Well, they're both making the playoffs, so I guess we'll just see if it matters in the playoffs. That's a completely different feeling. And the 12-team playoff minimizes that, does not reduce it down to nothing compared to the NFL, but a 14-team playoff, it's just getting worse. It's not getting better. This is just getting worse. So to create a structure in which you're freely admitting, yeah, these two conferences combined are going to get more automatic berths than the rest of the country, than everybody else, you are further incentivizing a mindset and a mentality that can grow and fester into an idea. Like when you watch Inception, can you plant an idea in someone's mind? Well, they showed that you can. And so you plant the idea of, we're just better than everybody else. We don't need everybody else. These games, we're above them. They're beneath us. We're the superior conference. Maybe we should just do our own thing. Has that thought ever crossed your mind? Because it sure as heck has crossed mine. That the Big Ten and the SEC might one day decide, we're just going to do this ourselves. We're just going to go off and make our own playoff and, call that the national championship because it's the best conference anyway. I don't know what their interest is. I don't know what their incentive structure is to continue to bring along the other leagues. I don't know where that exists. I don't know how that lines up. And so 3 Big Ten, 3 SEC, 2 Big 12, 2 ACC, a group of 5, and then 3 at-large spots, which will overwhelmingly go to the Big Ten and the SEC. You're just continuing to foster a structure in which the Power 2 break away. And for anybody and everybody out there that loves expansion and realignment, this is the product that it's going to give you. I'm still going to like it. It's still going to be great. It's not going to be the same. It is not going to be the same. It's not going to be anywhere close to what it used to be. I mean, a 3-bid automatically league, I didn't phrase that very well. A league that is guaranteed 3 bids to a 14-team playoff, that's going to be 9-3 Central. 10-2, 9-3. Heck, I can't wait for everybody who says they love expansion and they love more games and more games matter and blah, 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 and all that nonsense. I can't wait for those people to engage in the debate about an 8-4 SEC or Big Ten team making the college football playoff once you get to, the 16 or 24 team model. I don't know how any of this ends. This is my objection. It's been my objection to expansion the whole time. Like if you're just going to expand the playoff beyond 4 and you're going to go to a double-digit number, I would have been okay with 6. I think 6 is arguably the sweet spot. But I'm going back to the BCS before I'm supporting anything over that particular number. And we're going 14, we're going 16. How does it end? With the money that's involved, with the incentive structure in college sports, just ask yourself this question. Where does playoff expansion end? Why does it end? And how does it end? I don't know. You probably don't either. I know we still have something else to talk about today because there's another thing in college football that needs to change. And a change is being proposed. And guess what? It's the facepalm emoji.